Welcome to DWBIADDA channel. Please subscribe for latest training videos.
So in this lecture we'll talk about what is RDS multi-AG and what is read replica in RDS. Okay, we have already talked about RDS, so we'll not talk about it in detail. So go to your management console and type RDS. Go to DB instance. And choose create database. Okay, again we'll go for standard create rather than create easy create. For database this time I'll choose Postgres. Okay, Postgres version you can choose. I'll set it to 11.6 only. Now earlier we have used free tier, but now we'll go for dev test. Okay, database identifier, my Postgres, admin pass username, I'll give it admin, password I'll give it password. Since we are not in free tier, so we can also opt for this. It will generate automatically auto generated password. Okay, it will create a password for us. For DB instance, now we can go for standard classes, we can go for memory optimize, and we can go for bus table. So for right now we'll go for standard classes only, but again if you have a lot of queries that needs to be run in your RDS, then obviously you can go for memory optimize. I'll go for standard, and in standard I'll choose what is my minimum. Okay, this one. Okay, now storage type you can go for provision or SSD. I'll obviously use SSD. Enabling auto scaling, no, I don't want it. Now availability and durability, this is what we'll be talking about. So we have an option to have this RDS into multi-easy deployment. Yes, we'll create it. Okay, it will create a standby instance in a different availability zone. Okay, which is very handy when you do a failover test. We'll do it. Okay, now for connectivity, again you can choose your VPC, or you can also set default. These all things we have already talked about in our different lecture, so we'll not discuss much of it. Yes, I want my RDS to be accessible outside our VPC. We'll create a new security group, Postgres SG. Okay, password authentication. Okay, initial database, my first Postgres. Okay, I'll enable automatic backup. Retention period should be 7 days. Backup window, no. Enable encryption. Okay, we can enable and disable encryption, which is on rest. Okay, so for this lecture I'll use it, enable it encryption. And for master key, you can enter your own KMS key, or you can use AWS default KMS key. Okay, for this I'll choose default KMS key. Again there is enable performance insight. I don't want it. Okay, monitoring, again you can go for enhanced monitoring. No, I won't go for enhanced monitoring. Export log, you can export your logs. Maintenance, again managed by AWS, so you can enable it. Okay, so this is what it will cost me monthly, which is a huge amount. So make sure if you're doing it for your learning basis, please delete it after you're done, or you can just see me do it. Okay, now create database. Okay, must not reserved keyword. Okay, you cannot set admin as your root. I will choose PSG. So our database is start to create. Now as you know, it will take a lot of time because again it's of very large size, so it will take. Now Our availability zone is US1F, okay, and our multi-AZ is set to yes. So we'll check it if it fail over to a different availability zone or not. Okay. So currently you can say status has changed to modifying, and here it is showing multi-AZ set to no. Okay. So let's wait once it will modified completely. Hopefully we'll see here that its multi-AZ has been changed to yes. Okay. So now status has changed to configuring enhanced monitoring, and trust me, it has taken a way lot time. So now you can see our multi-AZ is set to yes. So now finally it is our RDS is available now. So for checking out our disaster recovery plan, which we have tried to overcome with multi-AZ deployment, we'll try to test it here now. Okay. Now action, you can see delete, reboot and all these things. Now go to okay. Now we'll go for action, and now we'll go for reboot. Okay. Now here's an option, now reboot with failover. Okay, before that I want to show you one thing. Currently our region is US East 1F. Okay. Now let's go to action, reboot, and reboot with failover. So now it's rebooting. So now my PSG SQL server, Postgres server is now available, and you can see the region has changed to 1A. Okay, what it does a failover rebooting to a different availability zone instance. Okay, this is why we create a multi-AZ deployment for our RDS instances. Okay, now one thing is clear. Now we'll move ahead with read replica. Okay, we'll go to action and create read replica. What is read replica? Suppose you have a very large application that requires a high demand of query being constantly run to your RDS instance, and you don't want, and suppose you don't want that much pressure or memory utilization on your database, so you create a read replica of your DB instance, okay, which is mainly just for reading the query, for reading the entries and all that database queries. Okay, so that's the way you optimize your DB utilization. Okay, now for DB class I'll choose very small T2 micro. I'll go for T2 micro. Availability zone, no, I don't want it. Okay, I'll go for yes. And general purpose SSD, I'll go for yes, general purpose SSD. Network setting, not Virginia. You can create your read replica in different region also. Suppose you want your replica in Tokyo region or Osaka local, you can do that. Okay, will availability zone, suppose our instance is in 1A, so let's see, let's create in US 1B. Okay, I'll choose it to no. Okay, security group is I'll choose PSG, which we had created earlier. Okay, now since we are replicating, so it is automatically encrypted. Okay, read replica source is my PSG. Okay, this is our main instance and my PSG replica. Okay, now we'll move ahead and create read replica. So if we go to database, and now we can see two databases. Okay, one is our master database, another one is replica. Okay, one is creating, another one is modifying. And what it will do, if we create a read replica, it will create replica from the standby database RDS instance. Okay, you need to understand that. And one more thing I forgot to mention, that when you add an encryption, you can add encryption only when you are creating an RDS instance. Okay, suppose if you have created an unencrypted database and you want to encrypt it later, then you have to take a snapshot and create a new database. Okay, so now again let's wait for it. Okay, you can see now our master database is available now, and it has again rolled back to our previous availability zone, that is US East 1F, whereas read replica is still creating, and again it has taken a lot of time, so let's wait for it. Meanwhile, let me create a connection between RDS. Okay, for RDS again I'm using MySQL client. Add my PSG, whose name is this, Postgres PSG. So our test is successful, and let's save it. Okay, I need to close it and create and open the application again. SQL Electron. So here is our main master Postgres server that's connected. This is our first database which we have created in an initial setup. So you can see my first PSG has been created. Now let's go back and see if our replicated DB instance is still, yes, it's available now. Now let's go ahead and create a read replica connection with this also. So our test is also successful for replica database. Now let's save it. Okay, now here we are master database, and this is our replicated database. So if we go to our master and create a database, create database, my test. Okay, so now we have two databases, my first PSG and my test. Okay, now let's go back to our replicated. So now here you can see our another database has been created, that is my test. So this is how the replication works. It works in no time. So you can configure replication and configure your application accordingly to reduce traffic on your database. So I hope you get to understand what is multi-AZ and what is read replica.